Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tales from the Dark Rift, episode
Hello.
10. Woo! This
Hey!
episode
Yeah,
10?
We made it to 10. We did it.
And
It only
we've
took
had
a
more,
death.
We've had more sessions than that, to be fair. I think we've made it to 10
Yes.
sessions without a death.
We made it to 10 sessions without a death in total, but I think it was like 4 sessions.
I think
before we
10
started.
session was the death.
Yeah, effectively. But the 10th
that's not good.
recorded one
Is this one?
is this one, yes. And this episode is called The Watchers. So, who wants to do the brain malfunctioning thing where we look back at what's
Recap.
happened? Recap, that's the word. Who wants to do the recap?
I mean, I'm not too good at these, but I'll mention like a key point. So I met up with everyone.
Mhm.
Temporarily, Sekbei had a pet Tarask.
It was
Thing.
totally Tarask.
It looked like it was big. We can say that much.
Can we just say that was the dead form of a Tarask?
I mean, maybe. You can think what you want to think.
you could certainly try.
You can certainly try.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, anyways,
Mhm.
technicalities me being dead.
Yep.
Warlock. Technically dead, but not. Started losing my magic. Don't have a connection with my patron anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Mariska's an archfey.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a new patron.
You have a new patron.
I have a new patron. A weak patron, but a patron.
It's a patron.
Or they
Everybody-
claim to be weak.
Everybody's made deals in order to attempt saving Xemnas or bringing him back. And because of that, there's repercussions that we're not going to know until later on. I don't like the implications.
It's the implication.
Yeah.
But yes, so that happened. Murder happened. You guys killed a bunch of Taute. That was cool. And now you guys are standing at the edge of the River Lethe. Or the quote-unquote night of the Shadowfel has like recently begun. You're about an hour or so into the night. But
Is night a regular duration? Like, is it still like 12 hours or whatever you want to
it
consider
seems
it
to be about
to
actually,
be? Zemnis, I'm
you
asking
have
Zemnis
no
this.
idea. Zemnis,
I'm asking Zemnis this.
you would
He should know, right?
He knows. He has no track of time.
I have no
accurately.
track of time.
It's very
yeah.
difficult to track time for him, considering he's been here for what he feels like as years. But yeah, you do know, for you, that you don't need to sleep or anything anymore, Zemnis. However, the rest of you are getting to the point where it is beginning to feel like you're beginning to feel tired. You feel like you've been going at this for several hours because you've been going at this for several hours. Now, the reason for people in the chat that Zemnis doesn't need to sleep is because he is literally a soul in the Shadowfel currently, and he is dead. And the dead don't need to sleep while in the realm of the dead. The rest of the party, however, is not dead, and therefore they do need to sleep. So, as you guys are, getting yourself prepared to continue your journey to get Zemnis' soul to the castle in the distance that holds the goddess Irkalla, what would you like to do?
I'm just opening some stuff.
So we're just sort of by the river, right?
Yes,
Like,
you are by the river.
okay.
The River Lethe.
We wanted to cross it, right?
Is this before potentially
Wait,
sleeping?
are we crossing a river to get to Arcalis?
This
What
is
do you
before
think,
the-
Cyril?
Cyril looks at you and goes, I really like shooting the Taute.
Think, Cyril.
And then he stops for a second and goes, wait, I stabbed them, I didn't shoot them.
Sorry, I had to.
That was the first thing that happened.
I mean,
So have we slept yet or not?
you
We're
have not
thinking
yet
about-
slept.
Okay.
so
You-
should we long
um,
rest since that'd be sleeping, right?
Semnus did mention that you guys needed to cross the river in order to get to the castle.
Mm.
And
Shall
while
we?
it still is night, I suggest maybe you
Is it-
sleep in the less risky time of day. Or
That's
time
a
of
good point, actually. In
Oh,
that
night
case,
is where shit goes all fucky, right?
the issue
Exactly.
is
Mhm.
if we travel away from a river, Zemnis is going to be away from a river, and we can't do that for long. So if we sleep, we need to sleep near the river. I think.
Well, we can cross the river and travel upstream it still for a while.
Do we know walking through the river is safe? How wide is the
You're
river?
not actually. Yeah, how wide is the river?
The river at this point seems to be about 30-40 foot across, and you know, at the very least, at this point, Zemnis, because you've seen people like souls do it, if a soul walks directly into the river, they can get to the point where they're fully submerged, at least.
Well, no way can you cross the river. Not while touching the water, at least. While it
there-
reverts the crystallization forming, it has a much more rapid effect on you, and even I cannot stay in it for very long.
Is there a bridge or anything? Should we keep traveling in a direction?
Or maybe a
Mm.
boat?
Not
Yeah.
that I've seen. Maybe our best.
What if we cut down a tree and then use that to traverse the river?
It's quite deep, so it would have to be a big tree.
I mean, you only have to float on it.
Wait, so the Shadowfel has trees but no rocks.
Your mum. Hey, I said that no rocks would be potentially falling, not that there would be no rocks. But yes, Kane, can you roll me a... I guess this would be investigation real quick, as you just give a quick glance over some of the trees that are near you. 17, perfect. As you're looking over the trees seem mostly dead and hollow, and as you think about that, you kind of get the idea that one tree would maybe, like, they're not huge, but if you manage to get a big enough tree, you might just be able to hollow out a section enough for you to use it as a makeshift boat. But it'd have to be either a pretty big tree, or, like, people would have to use separate trees.
Rage.
Yes.
Can I grab one of the... Are we still... Did we grab the Taute masks that were left
Yeah,
behind?
people had collected some of them. For
I
them,
picked up
Can
the big
Can I
one.
grab one of them and just like press it on the surface of the water and see if it like submerges or...
as you look at them, there's like there was about 10 small ones that are like literally the size of the palm of your hand. And then there was the larger one, which was about the size of a person's face. And as you like press it onto...
I want to die.
Thank you for the follow. As you press it onto the water, it seems like it just goes through the water like normal. But like, as you, which one are you touching? One of the smaller ones or the big one?
One of the smaller
One of the
ones.
small ones. As you do touch it to the water, you see that the mask slightly dissolves where you touch it. It's not fast, but you can tell that it dissolves slightly. It's like it
Okay.
almost gets washed away with the current.
Well, that's the opposite for what I hoped.
So then I guess we go with the plan where we make a raft or a boat.
Still seems somewhat unsafe. I think we should potentially consider trying to travel down a ways. How far is the river? How wide is the river at the moment?
So yeah, at the current moment, it's about 30 foot wide. Yes, that is a thing that you have now.
Can I get that in meters?
30 foot
roughest-
is like
Wait,
10
I'll translate it
meters.
myself. 10 meters. Okay,
About
yeah, that's
10
really
meters.
fucking far.
Yeah.
Should we try and walk down and find an area where it's slimmer, thinner?
I
Yeah,
was going to say we can still travel in the direction of
Yeah, that seems like a good idea. But if we,
Oh,
go, if we can
Irkalla.
sort of,
The
yeah,
direction you've been walking currently has been vaguely in the direction of it. It's effectively like you're going north and you need to go northeast, basically. Still.
Okay.
yeah, then going like we have been at the moment sounds like a good idea. Then
Yep.
Sure, I'm okay with it.
I think, however, I agree with Kane and maybe once we stop seeing trees, we be a bit more careful how far we go.
I agree with that.
Cool.
Let's get going, I guess. No point standing around here.
So, one thing I'd like. So wait, so to summon Mariska
Mhm.
as something, as like a certain animal or something, I need to cast.
With the components, and the components are consumed.
Okay. Where is it?
But she is obviously still a flying pixie, in general. But right now, she's kind of appearing as like a full-sized pixie. Like a full-sized humanoid. A full-sized humanoid, but she's in a pixie form still, if that makes sense.
Is Mariska with us now?
She is currently with you guys, yes.
She
Mariska,
is in human form,
yes, dear.
yes.
couldn't you just carry us over one by one?
How strong do you think I am, dear?
I was just
I just-
asking.
I'd assume as an
You guys are
archer
heavy.
you'd be reasonably strong.
Yeah, I'm really powerful.
I wish I was, currently. But I'm not. There's a
Well,
lot more to
Mariska,
being an
are
archer
you
than just being strong, sorry.
at least able to return to a smaller size and maybe
I can do
fly
that.
above?
She kind of downs to the small size.
If you fly above us a bit, maybe you can spot
Scout.
something dangerous
Yeah.
before us as we're walking, possibly.
Sure, I
Don't
can
we
see what I can
also
do.
technically have Sekbe's eagle?
Yes. Yes, you do. But he's not here, so I'm not going to bother rolling for that.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
But
no,
yes.
eagle.
Well, the eagle is around, but you can tell Sekbe is kind of off in his own world currently. Seems
Wait
to
a
be
moment.
concerned with the river. Can you roll me a perception check for Mariska?
Sure. From Mariska's sheet?
Yes, so just wisdom on her sheet if there isn't a perception thing underneath. 13. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
She says, alright, I'm on that, fine. She flies up.
Okay. I can cast Speak with Animals freely.
Yes.
So even though Sekbe is lost, I'm gonna talk to the eagle.
Oh fuck! I wish we still had
And
the big
ask
thing
it to-
now. We could ask it to carry us across. We need
It's not
Sekbe
a
for that as
large
well.
eagle.
No, the other thing.
The other thing.
Jesus
The
Christ.
Tarask.
The Tarask, at the end of the
Tarask is
last
fucked up.
session, the
ran
Tarask
off.
yeeted
Yeah,
off
exactly.
into the distance.
Which is why I'm saying I
In
wish
the
we still had
direct
it.
opposite direction to the way you were currently going, effectively.
We also
Yeah.
splashed it with water, and I don't
Yeah.
think it liked it.
Just a little
Definitely.
bit.
So Little Eagle, if you could be so kind as to maybe give us a helping hand if you see something.
Bro, you're not my master. Why would I do that?
Well, I'm friends with your master. And you want to keep him safe, do you not?
Yeah, well, you see, he bound me by a contract, and I'm kind of here doing whatever he asks, but you're not him, and he seems to be a little bit more concerned about, that... whatever the hell that is he's got in his hand. Did you see he's kind of stood there looking at, like, some spices, and he's just muttering under his breath? And, if you carry the 2 and the 1, and...
So, should we just keep going up the river then?
I need to be right back real quick, actually.
Just a quick
So-
strategy meeting where Rage isn't here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's been going for a really long time.
I said strategy meeting and yanked my
What do we,
headphones
what
out
do we,
immediately.
how are we, I mean, the only thing I can think of is that the stream gets smaller, or the
yeah.
tree idea, that was pretty smart. I wanted to see maybe the mosques are like buoyant.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
assume the stream isn't like straight up cutting off the entire domain, like a line, sort of like a border. So I'd assume there is going to be some way to cross up or down. The
Yeah.
issue is, I've got a sneaky fucking suspicion we're going to get trolled under the bridge, and someone's
Yeah.
going to crawl out and be like, "Give me your soul, and I'll let you go."
That's oddly specific. I just feel like we're gonna have an encounter if we walk. If we.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I just
Honestly, how fucking long would it take us to fucking dig under it? Is the ground like soil?
that doesn't really sound like a wise idea. We'd need to have
That-
like structural support for
Yeah.
Oh,
tunnel
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise
Well,
it'll
it
just collapse
collapses,
on us.
everybody dead.
Okay.
Getting fully submerged
I'm
in
here.
the river of random souls and shit does not sound
Fair
smart.
enough.
So, I'm gonna just give an explanation of what the river exactly looks like. It looks like mostly dark, rushing water, but as the water rushes at the top, it crests into lots of like white water rapids, effectively, lots of bubbles and stuff like that. That give it like this odd, serene, like white effect on the top. And as like so specifically for Zemnis, as you've seen people like make their way to it, and as you've touched it, you felt it almost like pull part of you away as the river like continues. Usually for you, it feels like the effect of pulling away this mask, this other effect, and this like darkness inside of you. But you've literally seen it wash like the soul away from people as they've walked into it. Like it washes away the mask, and then as they continue further, it seems to wash them away completely as well.
And you said it's deep enough to be completely submerged.
Deep enough to be completely submerged in.
How many
I-
trees are there nearby?
There's quite a few trees. Like there's almost a whole forest. It's very vaguely sparse, but it's still enough for a forest.
Okay, so I'm
would
not
I-
sure about how strong you guys are, but judging from the fact that 2 of you are warlocks, 2 of you are so judging from the fact that 2 of us are spellcasters here, and the only people that I assume are strong enough to transport or move a tree across are going to be me and Kane. I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to move the trees across the river. If we had someone like an acquaintance of mine, a guy called Jeremiah, he'd be able to throw the trees across no problem. But without him here, we can't really do that. Trying to make a bridge or something probably doesn't sound smart, even if the trees are buoyant.
But what if we redirect the river?
It's a very, very big river.
Fuck.
It's
Yeah,
a 10-meter
there
long
a- like,
river.
It's 30
is there a-
feet. It's
is
your
there a
Like, do you know
entire
how-
Wait, how much
movement.
is 30 feet in meters?
Oh, so-
10 meters.
So
This is your
you-
entire movement in
meters.
one turn worth of like river.
So,
So
you
it's
know,
a lot of river.
let's wait.
Okay.
At least there.
You know,
Okay,
like,
I
the
want to
gas
try
station
something.
Things, the bits that go over gas stations. Most of those are 4 meters high, for reference. So, like, 2.5 of those. That. Okay. Sorry, go on.
Okay. No, I got something.
Okay.
Okay. So can you load up like a map?
Okay.
Do you know this is the equivalent of? This is the equivalent of jumping backwards up a mountain.
Do you
in
want just an
Skyrim
empty
to get
map?
into the area.
You can make an empty map and just draw like the river on it and where we are.
Okay. Give me
I
one
just want to
second.
check something.
So this is the
Because
empty
I have
map.
2 spell slots, and 2 spell slots mean we can test my theory with 1 instead of.
Okay, we're gonna draw the river. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide. It's about
6
this
boxes
much.
wide.
6 boxes wide, and you guys are, for example.
Oh, I thought.
Yeah. Does that make sense? I
Yeah.
mean, that's basically like from edge to edge. That's like 30. But that is the river for you.
Okay, and so a 15-foot cube smack down in the center would be.
Yes. So a 15-foot cube would be basically this in the center. You got about like 5 foot ish to spare either side.
7.5.
Yeah, but like we'll call it 5 because I can't be bothered to do point.
Okay. So
And how is the river like flowing very heavily, or is it just?
It's very fast to the point
Oh,
where
okay,
it is
then,
literally
yeah.
cresting and creating like white water on the top.
No, never mind. Fuck my idea then. Okay,
can I-
thank you.
can I like go to the river and dip my finger in it, just really quickly,
Okay. Can you roll me a Constitution saving throw, please?
Yeah, I kind of expected that, but I figured I had to try it.
That's
Yes.
for your entire right arm.
Bruh, I wanted to Moses the river.
You touch your finger into the river, and you have like a flash of several memories. Specifically, you remember a memory where you were sat with Jeremiah, and you were just thinking, "Wow, he's so cool." And then you feel this feeling of as if the memory itself is almost being torn from you for a second before you manage to like wrench your hand away and just like flick the water off your finger. You manage to like really have to concentrate and focus on that memory to really like feeling like you're going to lose it. and then you manage to bring yourself to a bit more of a normal state without like losing it. Just about.
Wait.
Oh, what the fuck? Okay, so I don't know what the hell is wrong with this. So, Zemnis, what is it like when you go in the river?
Well, I
What
don't
does it
know. It's kind of
feel like?
emotions get swept away.
Do you feel like your memories get affected?
Not particularly.
I
I would
don't know
say
what.
that like if you've
Do they?
spent for like if you've touched the river for past the point of like it feeling good, if that makes sense, where it cleanses away the lack of emotion and all of that like good stuff, where it cleanses away the physical mask, right? You continue past that point, it feels like it begins to pull at your memories. But it like it for you, it's a longer process because it has to get through all of this like effective like blockage first. This mask, literally.
Okay,
Okay,
I
so
don't know what's going on with this river, but touching this river for any of I gestured to like me, Sek, Bazel, all the alive ones. Touching the river for any of us is going to be incredibly dangerous. I felt like my memories were being sucked out of me.
Well, we have to
Hmm.
figure out something to get across
Well,
this river.
I do know of something. I can teleport over it.
Teleporting
using
over
my-
it, is it safe? Can you
It
teleport
should
any of
be.
us?
No, I can only teleport myself.
Have you? So you did that teleport the last time during the first battle, like where
Yeah.
Zemnis died, right?
Mhm.
So you haven't had a rest since then.
It's
if I
a
remember
short
correctly. Is it a short
rest.
rest?
Yeah.
You guys had a short rest. Okay, well I
Yep,
guess
Yeah.
effectively
we
you've had
short
a
They
full
rested
did.
before we came
Sure,
in.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you have it back. Okay, I thought it was a long rest. I am.
I have like a
okay.
little counter to
Cool,
keep track of
fair
it.
enough.
Are you
That was
able
long
to
rest,
use
that's
it
why.
at any time?
Kane,
Yeah.
So we could test out your boat idea potentially, and if it starts to go bad, I guess you could teleport back to us.
no,
Would
no,
that
no.
work?
I have an idea. I have an idea. Kane, I have
Can
rope.
we
I can
can
give
we
you the
start
rope. You can
moving while we're
teleport
talking?
over.
Since we are losing travel time, can we, as we talk, can we start moving?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to rush too much though.
we
Like
don't need to move too
Mariska's
fast, but just
scouting above, so
Should
if
we
we
roll?
walk slower, Mariska will have more time to scout, so we
Should
should
we
be
roll for
yeah,
stealth
safe.
as well?
that's okay. I mean, we can stealth and move. That might be the safest idea.
Yeah.
I think I understand what you're trying to say though. So, do you want to teleport holding a rope or something?
Yep. And then if you're able to, you could like stick it into the ground, then we could use the rope to go over.
Well, they are rapids. The rope will just be touching the water.
Well,
Yeah,
if
we
I
if you
assume.
can find a
we-
way to elevate the rope, then
That
it
sounds
won't.
incredibly awkward. Plus, whoever teleports over is going to be isolated, and I don't think being isolated in this place is a good idea.
That's true.
Just giving out ideas.
You know, all of the ideas are good, but we need to think about this and evaluate what's going to happen for all of them. I'm probably being a bit pessimistic, I think, for this, but I'd rather be, you know, alive with my memories than floating through a river with no memories.
Should we roll
Second,
stealth
I need to
then?
roll. Sure.
Oh yeah.
If you guys want to stare, okay, that's perfect.
Jesus Christ.
You guys, like, are having this conversation and beginning to slowly get yourself back into walking. Where Zemnis, the eagle that you sent off, comes back and goes, "All right, fine. I did a little business looking around and everything," and he kind of points a wing in the direction you guys are going. Over there, fair distance away. It's gonna take you a little while. I think there might be a bridge.
Should we head towards that then?
Very far away.
Okay.
just
How
at the edge of my
how long
reach.
would you say? Oh, okay.
Well, I'd say a couple of mountains over, maybe. You know,
Okay.
Okay, Rage.
or like sideways
Does-
mountains,
does-
not upwards mountains. You know?
Does Irkalla seem like if we get to that distance, can I estimate if like Irkalla would be like a 90-degree bend
yeah,
or
it'd be
something?
pretty similar to a 90-degree bend at that point. Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have to go
Okay.
straight away there. I think going safer might be better than trying to jump across the river. That
Thanks,
river's
Eagle
risky.
Dude. Can I just
That's
ask you
true.
one more thing?
Yeah.
We'll walk a bit further so it's within your range,
Hmm.
but you know, I'm not too sure how safe that bridge is. And there's kind of a lot of things that want to eat your master over here.
Mm-hmm. He's
So
pretty
maybe you could
stinky.
give it a little look.
I'll take a look around. I'll see what I can
Like
do.
under it. Just
Sure.
if you can
I'll
if
catch
you can
guys
get
in a
under
couple
it.
hours, I guess. Flies off.
Yep. So I guess we start walking then.
Kira. The rest of you. He's just been like aggressively squawking at Xemnas
Oh, I didn't roll
this
for
entire
stealth.
time. But yes, everybody roll stealth as you continue onwards.
Okay.
Those of you who are not Xemnas, you
Ah,
do
fuck!
feel like you're beginning to push yourselves at this point. You think you can maybe go an hour or two before you start gaining exhaustion.
So should we
Oh.
travel for say an hour and then start resting? Does a long rest have to be sleeping, or can we
Okay.
sit down?
Can I estimate how long the night has left?
Okay, hold on. Long rest doesn't necessarily have to be sleeping, but it has to be like through like resting.
It's 12.
Right?
Should we
Um,
take a rest now then? I mean,
um,
we can stay conscious, but we can just sort of sit down and.
the thing is with resting is it's kind of like you basically have to be in a state where you are properly resting, right? So if you're not actually sleeping, you're effectively doing the closest thing to sleeping that you can do,
Okay.
right?
So
For some
can
of
we-
you, you can trance, so you have 3 elves and all of them can do
Mhm.
4-hour shifts as per usual.
Mm.
But like both Sekbe and Valis, both of them need to do like proper sleeps, 8 hours. It doesn't mean you won't have watches and stuff like that, like looking around, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to get through your entire rest.
I think if we stay here where we are, can we like quote unquote rest to not tire ourselves out anymore to wait for the daytime?
Not really. You're gonna either basically gonna have to be sleeping, or you're gonna have to
Yeah.
there's a point where like even if you're not doing anything, you're still getting sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
So like you don't be doing anything, so you won't be like gaining exhaustion, right, from just like pushing to do stuff. But you'll get to the point where even if you're like still not like sleeping, you'll start gaining exhaustion eventually.
Yeah,
So
that makes
like
sense.
it's not really like you're
Uh,
resting to just
hmm.
stave off like the exhaustion, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're like resting enough that you can start going again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I can deal with exhaustion because I have my psionic die, but I'd
It-
still rather not rack it up.
The problem is that like you get to an hour worth of extra stuff, you'll gain 1 exhaustion. That can be lost in 1 night, right? But
That's true.
past that point, you keep every hour after that you get another exhaustion.
Oh.
6 hours of pushing and you'll die.
He's just dead, yeah.
You're just dead. Like it's too much for you.
Damn,
Because,
you can
like-
fight a dragon, but you can't stay up for an entire night.
No. But like, here's the thing: that's pushing yourself. So that's
Yeah,
going for 8 hours and then going for another 6 hours on top of that. Like that's going 15 hours of non-stop forward march, nothing else.
That's
right?
true.
But if you're just staying awake and not doing anything, you can go a couple of days maybe worth of stuff. You'd go, I think it's 3 days, and then by that point, every day gives you exhaustion until the 3rd day, where every
Yeah,
couple
that's
hours
what I was
starts
talking-
giving you exhaustion again.
This is what I was talking about with resting. Can we sort of like not like rest, but can we just take it easy to not build up exhaustion?
Yeah, but I mean, like, you can be awake and take it easy to not build up exhaustion, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be able to get up and keep going afterwards.
Oh yeah, I mean, just
That
take
makes
it out
sense.
and wait out the night so we can sleep
You can do
during the
that.
day.
You
Yeah,
can
can we
wait
do
out
that?
the night. Yes.
Is everyone else okay with that?
Yeah, sounds good. I don't have any
Sure.
spell slots left, so I do want to do long rest after. But being able to be like somewhat alert during the time.
All your spell slots come from short rests. So, taking an hour to chill, spell slot.
Hell
Okay,
yeah.
so I mean, Xemnas doesn't need to sleep, so we have one guard in Xemnas,
Mhm.
and then the elves can rotate watches. Man, I feel a bit bad saying that because I'd be sleeping for it all, but I can't just sort of get up like the elves can.
It is what it is. Cool. So should we go with that then?
Yeah.
Okay. So, people want to fill in Zemnis?
I'm back. Sorry about
Welcome
that.
back. Welcome
Mom
back.
came
Okay,
into my
so
room.
because if we keep traveling, we're going to start building up exhaustion. What we've decided to do is we're going to sort of take it easy throughout the night, but stay awake in case anything comes, and then during the day we're going to sleep and then start trying to get travel in time.
Can do that.
Are you guys happy to do that? So you're waiting out the rest of the night, just taking watches during that time, and then afterwards during the day, you guys are trying to take watches and sleep, and then we're going back to stuff, right?
Yeah.
Everybody cool with that? Okay, perfect. So as you are taking your watches during the during this like night phase, can everybody roll me a perception check? I will use this for the entire night. Okay.
Perception.
Perception.
Oh.
Okay.
Did I double
2
click
nines.
again? No, I didn't.
No, the cane double click. Lots of nines. Lots of nines.
That's the second double click we've had.
Okay. Can you roll one for Mariska as well, please? Then I will roll one for Sekbe and Saril. Character sheet. Perception.
Well, okay then.
Saril. Perception. Okay. I mean, it'd just be 21 because I'm not thing. Yeah. Could you roll one for Mariska as well? Wisdomness? Just the wisdom and perception. Usual. And I'll roll a dice to see how the eagle does. Okay. So you guys all taking your time to like chill, relax, take watch, and just focus on your surroundings for the most part. Couple of so that's a 4. Okay. Couple of hours go by, and you, Zemnis, you're getting to the point where like this is about halfway through the night. This seems about right to be halfway through the night, right? And as you guys are focusing on everything, Kane, Zemnis, both of you are kind of like more focused on like keeping your emotions in check. Specifically, Kane as well, as you feel like your feelings begin to seep away from you slowly. And this is a bit of an uneasy feeling for you as you're like you're physically feeling yourself begin to drift a little bit, and it feels very unnerving since this is the first time this has happened to you. And as you're like doing your best to hold on to it, you both hear you're both just like focusing on everything. Zemnis, you have to take a quick like hand dip into the water, as per usual. You both hear, all of you hear Sekbe go, "Gentlemen, it's that over there," and he points off through the trees into the distance. It takes you all a second to like focus in on it. The first people who focus in on it is Valis, and then Valis and Zell, and then everybody else kind of manages to just about focus into it. One of the trees in the distance has a mask on it, or at least you think there is. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's either a mask or there's a white fruit hanging from the center of the tree. And it
How
looks
far
very
away?
Odd. It looks like it's about 100 or 200 feet in the distance.
Is it traveling towards us?
You don't see it moving or anything. It seems to be completely stationary, but it seems like one of these trees has something attached to it.
What is the tree density like in the surrounding area? Is
The
there
tree
a lot of trees
density
around?
is pretty similar to the last map we were on at that during the last fight.
There's a fair
Pretty-
few, but not tons.
There's not a huge amount. They're a little bit sparse in places, but like you can it gets to a point where you can kind of look through the trees and there's like somewhat gaps between them, but there's like a decent amount of trees. And some of the trees are covering each other. And so it does look a little bit odd, like you're looking through a couple of different trees, and there is a tree that seems to be rather like not particularly like larger than any of the rest, rather gnarled in places, dark wood with a single white orb, effectively.
I have noticed something like this ever before.
Roll me a history check with advantage. Perfect. You specifically not only have noticed something like this before, you've been this before. This is 100% a lonely. What they do, they make themselves similar to the surroundings around them. In this case, it looks much like a tree. It watches, it waits, and then during the night, slowly it creeps up on you and grabs you. Once it grabs you, it's a difficult time.
How far away is it?
200 feet, around about. 150 to 200 feet.
Is it going to approach us if we acknowledge it?
I think we possibly stay stealthed and keep a close eye on it.
Okay.
It's a stalking. It's a creature that stalks. While it can approach us, maybe it won't, as we're a large group. Let's keep our presence to a minimum, though.
Agreed.
During the day, it should be fine as long as we get far enough away from it.
Okay.
It's like halfway night, he said, yeah.
Yeah. Halfway through the night. You guys relax, calm yourselves again. This interaction seeming kind of odd. And you see Sekbei kind of turns to it and goes, I think I'm going to keep an eye on that one. And he seems to just be focusing on it in its general direction. The night continues a couple more hours. And as it gets to about 3/4 of the way into the night, you see Sekbei kind of, his head begin to nod slightly, kind of closes his eyes and looks up and goes, Gentlemen, I've lost track of it.
What, are we in a clearing? Are we surrounded by trees right now?
You guys are effectively right next to the river. So there's a slight tilted bank towards the river, and I believe you guys were setting up right next to the river, so you're quite near the river. There's a bit of a clearing between you and the trees. Not a huge amount, only about 10-15 feet.
That's
but
enough.
It's something.
Everybody, backs to backs, cover our field of vision and look for
Yep.
it.
Yep, I agree with that.
What if we
Can
just start moving again?
I mean, I'd still rather not move because I'm gonna get tired really fast. We're probably all gonna get tired
Okay,
fast if we
but-
start moving right now. I don't know if we're going to outrun it either.
Can we do another perception check to see if we can see
Yeah.
it?
Can
can indeed.
I have a look around?
If you would like to do perception checks, you can.
What's
I'm gonna
perception
say-
check from Mariska? Wisdom, yeah?
Yeah, wisdom. She's kind of floating, like flying around above you, keeping like a little round. Kane, can you make me a wisdom saving throw, please?
I have disadvantage now on
Yes.
saving throws, right?
Yes, you
So-
do. Okay.
Yay.
You feel yourself begin to like slowly losing yourself again, and you try and like hold on to like any feeling you can, and you begin to feel a little bit more jaded, a little bit more off the edge again. This place is getting to you, and as you guys are all focused and looking around, Zemnis, you're doing your best to like focus on where this creature is, and within a couple of seconds, you manage to catch a glimpse of that same like form again, the mask. This time, you realize that it's not tree branches; it's very obviously antlers. Two large antlers coming out the side of this thing's head. It's a large body form for the most part. It has like long, like drooping arms. The mask in the front of its face, you can see, and you've seen it before. The tears, like almost like imprinted on this masked face. And as you're looking into it, you kind of look towards it, and then you look towards Kane, and you see him kind of shaking.
Can I use Mage Hand to grab just a small amount of the river water and just toss it onto Kane?
Okay. Can you make me
Small
a
amount.
Constitution? Yeah, I know. Constitution saving throw, Kane, please. Disadvantage. Still. Okay.
Okay.
You get splashed on the face with this water, and it does take away like the majority of the pain of this loneliness, this lost feeling that you were feeling, this just pure, unadulterated wrongness, right? But as it does, you remember a memory as a child, where your mother was cooking food, and you remember the smell of apple pies and how they were relatively nice. And as you try and concentrate on that memory, the smell, the memory, completely lost, disappeared, gone. But yes, Zemnis, you see this creature. It's now about 100 feet away.
Mhm.
As you do look back towards it, after looking around to take a look, you notice it is doing the thing you're used to, specifically in the trees, specifically where it's not being seen. You look away for a second, and it disappears from your sight and reappears a little bit closer.
Okay, can I... Everybody, until the morning comes, going to keep looking at that creature. If you have any, as we spoke, any emotions that are piling up, Kane, tell me.
Okay.
Does it not make more sense to attack the creature and try and... Are they tough? Have you encountered these
Most
before?
likely. That is... It was what I was for... I don't even know how long.
Can we splash it with water to make it recover?
If you can figure out a way how to get the water onto it instantly without it grabbing and squeezing the soul out of you, be my guess.
Can you not mage hand it? You flicked the Tarask with water. Can you not do it to this one?
If it gets close enough, yes. I'd rather it not.
It could be a useful ally if we can get it. It's
Roll
risky in
me a history check,
itself, though.
Zemnis.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So you do like a quick thought and try and think of the things that you remember about being one of these beings, the lonely, right? And you don't. It's kind of hard to hold on to these memories as well as your normal ones. You remember two things distinctly. It took Marveth literally doing something and hitting you directly with something to turn you back to a normal soul, it seemed. And the other thing is that when you were in the night and when you were feeling like this pure loneliness, this darkness, this wanting to be around other beings, the best feeling was when you were surrounded by other creatures. The more of them, the better. And it made you feel stronger. And it made whatever happened during those nights easier. The more of them, the better. The closer, the better.
This may seem counterproductive, but we're a bit tightly huddled up at the moment. I feel like it's better if we spread out at least a tiny bit
I'll trust you
in
on this
case this
because you've been
creature
here for
gets
longer.
closer.
But how far?
I'd say like 10 feet apart. Slightly, like
Okay.
in a slight arc.
In that case, with Zemnis as the centerpiece, I suppose, I'll move 20, 25-ish feet away.
Yeah,
So
I'll move
someone's
to
got...
the other
Keep an eye
side.
on it, though.
Yep.
Okay. You guys begin to spread out along the edge of the river,
And I
keeping an eye
assume
on it.
Saril and Sekbe will also
They will
do
also
that.
do the same. Zemnis, you remember very distinctly an encounter with a group of Taute. And you remember distinctly this encounter that you had did not last long. It did not go the way of the Taute, even slightly. But as you all focus in on this creature and try and keep it within your vision for the rest of the night, can everybody roll me perception checks one more time, please?
I might have to get rid of this negative. We're rolling so many perception checks.
The majority of you do your best to focus in on it. Valis and Kane, you manage to keep it in your eyesight for the entire rest of this night. You see it eventually as it gets closer to the end of the night. Within the last, very small period, Zemnis, you see the creature slowly begin, all of you see the creature slowly begin making its way towards you guys, stopping about 10 or so feet before, near the edge of this, clearing next to the river.
So it's still in the trees at the moment.
Still in the trees.
About 25 feet away from the river?
25, yeah, about that
Okay.
much. 1 second. And as it's stood there, it's a shift, I want to say shift Z. There it is. As it is stood there, you see this form stood there, watching. Just stood there, watching. Just there.
Do we, do we know how much of the night is left?
You don't specifically
yourself
know how much of the night is left.
Only a short while longer. Just
A
keep
little-
it up.
A little bit of you having to half shout this across from the distance that you guys are at, spread apart from each other, but it's not too loud, and you can tell that this thing is just stood there
Okay.
and it doesn't seem to be moving yet.
I'd like to try something.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to minor illusion, like a fake scenery, so it looks like there's nothing.
Mhm.
3 of the members, not Sekbe
Okay.
or myself.
So, if I remember, you said that you wanted to be about 30 feet apart, Valis. Is that correct?
I mean, I'd moved about 25 feet away
25.
because there'd be someone in between me and Zemnus.
Okay, so then it
My range
effectively
is exactly
15
30
feet either way, right? So you can.
Yeah.
So in total, there everybody is 30 feet away from Zemnus. Okay, perfect.
I mean,
So
I'd
you
assume
just
so about that
boop,
much.
boop, boop. Minor illusion, that situation around to the 3 people. You see the creature doesn't seem to... Actually, I'll roll a check and see... Natural 20. Yeah, no, it doesn't seem to give a shit. Where you see its eyes are... its masked face is focused on each of the creatures one by one. It moves its head slowly between them. It doesn't seem to stop moving its head between them.
Can I tell that there's an illusion being cast?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious. You've seen Zemnus do this before.
I'm pretty sure it sees us as living things, not as what we actually are, or what we look like. I feel like it sees us as life force.
So do we
or
wait
something along
now
those
or
lines.
do we attack?
We do not attack this thing.
Can
No
we?
fucking way.
It's called a lonely. What do we know? Do you know why it's called a lonely?
For the emotion it channels.
Then what happens if it doesn't feel lonely anymore?
Well,
You're dead.
yeah.
Well, it hmm.
As you
Maybe
are having
pulling
this
up to it is not-
conversation, that
Keep your eyes on it.
dull feeling of paranoia and anxiety slowly begins to shift to a dull feeling of sadness and depression, and just a feeling of just the world, just everything slightly being a little bit crushing rather than this feeling of just hyper anxiety. Everything has a dull sense of itself, and it just falls down at you slightly. And as you feel this across all of you, you see the creature's form from this like tall, rigid self slowly slumps down. Its eyes, its head, effectively, its masked face, still trained slowly, one by one, on each of you. But it slowly begins to slink its way backwards,
So
keeping
it's
a
day.
bit more of a distance. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can take our rest now.
You do note, as you keep your eyes on it, it doesn't seem to slink much further than 100 feet away. It stays in the distance. There.
What
it-
speed is it moving at as it walks around?
Um,
Is it just sort of slow, like a walking pace, slower than walking?
it seems like it just kind of slowly is sinking away. But from what you saw, it seemed to be able to move quick distances very fast. Especially when you're not looking at it.
Okay. How long would I estimate, like a longer rest?
Yep.
Would I be able to estimate how much of a regular day that is?
Considering right now, no.
Like,
Without
so I can't say
help,
like
without help, you wouldn't be able. Yourself,
Okay.
no.
So how long do you all need to rest for before we go on?
I will need about 7 or 8 hours.
In relation to how you have been around Valis and the others, your rests, or specifically Valis and Sekbe's rests, would take about as long as the night was. And
So it would take a day cycle.
effectively,
Well, I feel like we kind of have to. If we keep moving,
Yeah, we
it's
don't
not
have a
going to go
choice.
well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to take a long rest?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
otherwise they will take
Well,
sessions.
I will wait. Do I need to rest? I
You
don't.
don't need to rest.
I'll stay watch the entire time. You all rest up.
And let's see. Go with Zell. Can you roll me a d20, please? As per the
Oh,
dread
no.
rule. Okay. Ooh.
That's a bit of a relief.
I don't think
Nice.
I've put one that's on the board yet. I think I've only rolled 2.
Nice. Cool. Good. Alright, the 18 is added to the list. So, what order are we doing rests and watching?
I'm watching the
Who's
whole
watching?
time.
Can you roll me 2 perception checks then, please?
Boom.
And Zell, Kane, / Sarrel, who's sleeping when? Who's watching when?
I only really need to watch. Like, wait, Mariska will be helping me. I'd
She'll be
assume.
watching the entire time. She can give you the help action if you'd like. That gives you advantage.
Yes. So
Cool. That will work better.
is that a double advantage?
No, for you, it's just advantage. Great advantage.
Ah, okay, okay.
She doesn't roll in that case.
So does that mean one of us?
No, I
gets-
meant, but since I have 2 perceptions,
What do you mean?
since you told me I have 2 perception
He's doing
checks.
2 perception checks, so they
Oh
put
yeah,
advantage
yeah.
on both.
Are they
Advantage
both on
yeah.
advantage?
Advantage
Yeah.
on both. Yeah, they're for different times. Sorry. Unfortunately.
Well then,
and yes. So
Um,
out of you, the rest of you.
You want to go like rest first, Sal, or should I?
Sure.
Okay.
A perception check from you first, then Kane, and then a perception check from Zell afterwards. Cool. And Zell. Okay, perfect. You guys, for the first part, seem to be relaxed and just keeping an eye on everything. It goes pretty quietly and pretty, like, seems fine. There's a couple of periods where, Zemnis, you feel the need to just, douse your face as per usual. Doesn't seem anything too crazy. And then you get to the second part. Zell awakens from her effective, trance, focusing on various different things, relaxing. And as that goes, do you guys want to roleplay why you guys both have so horrible perceptions? Is there any particular ideas you have for why it would go horribly like this?
Cell can't stay focused.
No, it would definitely be due to just like a lot of what's going on, and that like in general she just hasn't had a lot of time to process it.
Mhm.
And now that they're kind of having like now that there's a lot more time to just think.
Hmm.
Also the news of what like Mariska said as well kind of haunts her a bit. Those would be the main reasons why she's not
Can you
doing
roll me a d4, please?
For me, it would be that I guess I'm worried about keeping everybody safe. And so I'm focusing on things which I shouldn't be focusing on, and maybe like I'm like, oh, what's that? And it distracts me from something that's over
Yeah.
there.
You
Kinda deal.
are both like trying to focus, and it's really not working. And Zell, as you're like in this world, this different feeling, you remember what Mariska said about your patron, Marceline. You feel an overwhelming sense of anger, and you feel this wrath. How could she? What did she do? How could she do anything to Marceline? How? Who is she to do anything? She deserves to be destroyed. She deserved to have been in Marceline's place. How dare she? And you feel it. And as you begin to exude this, Zemnis, your focus turns to Zell. Because you see Zell not growing a mask or anything. Her form turned from this normal, like, pale whitish.
Can I
to this-
instantly like mage hand some water?
Yeah, you may hand the water on to her. Constitution saving throw, Zell, please. But like you see her form begin to flare with this dark and red energy.
Nice rolls, I guess.
Yeah,
Mm.
okay.
Back to back.
Cool. So you, Zell, as it washes over you and it manages to pull you away from it, you have a memory with your brother. This memory of you spending time in a grove, chilling, just having a conversation when you both see in the distance a sprite. And the sprite you see is fighting off another sprite just in a sparring battle. And this is it's just a joyous, wondrous occasion to be seeing sprites so close and fighting each other like this. It's not like it's anything specifically like different, but it feels like it's something like a little bit of an occasion. Everyone just doesn't happen super often, but it's a nice thing to see them actually fighting. You'll see sprites around, but to see them fighting each other and sparring is something wondrous. And as you turn to your brother and you see his face and his smile, the vision of this and his smile from your memory washed away, disappears.
So is the anger and stuff still there? Or
The
is
anger
that...
dissipates, and you
Okay.
find yourself kind of cold.
Zell just she looks at Zemnis. She doesn't say anything because she understands why he did what he did, but there is like there's just mourning in her eyes, and almost like she can't speak to like say what she's feeling, but she she feels she has like a betrayed expression on her face.
Can I use the mage hands to be like just like from where I was, like just kind of like pat them and like. You can't change the past. I don't know what it is, but
Zemnis,
I yes.
did you lose memories too?
Did I rage? You didn't mention it.
Roll me a this be wisdom saving throw, I guess. An 18.
'Cause-
Yeah. You focus and you think, and you can remember the majority of the things that you think you should be able to, But there are a couple things that you feel like have just been lost to the waters. You remember stuff like the way Iliac smiled and the stories he used to tell, but some of the things seem to just be missing. There are small things, small fragments that seem to just be off. And as you try and focus on them with all of what you have, you try your best to claw back at them, but they're gone.
Not only memories that this place has taken away. It's been years already for me here. The only thing I wish not to lose is you all after coming so far.
Likewise. And she just continues with her watch the best she can.
Your watch comes to an end, and everybody awakens. And as it does, as they do, slowly, after a couple minutes, you begin to feel the anxiety, the dread, fear of what's to come, slowly seeping in ever so slightly.
Well, so it's night.
Yes.
Well,
Tonight.
it's time to wake everyone up.
Yep. Zoe goes over and wakes up who she can.
You awaken the group. As you do, as you're waking them all up, Zell and Zemnis, you feel this odd urge, and you look both at the same time, into the distance between the trees, and once again, you see an odd, single, glowing light, and then a larger, glowing light just above it, off in the distance.
Would I consider it a lonely, or would I be like, what the fuck is it?
No, you know that this isn't a lonely. This is something different. And you've seen this, something similar, the other night. The beginning of the other night. And then it disappeared.
Well, we have company on our hands. Let's move.
And as you
Stay
go to
away
look
from
back
the
at it,
trees.
gone.
Let's get moving
Okay.
again.
Roll a
Stay away from the trees. Walk fast and face. Okay. How many are where? Me, Mariska, but what we can do is we have.
Well, the bird's
Yeah.
gone. Well, the bird comes back, actually. That's another point.
Oh,
The bird just about comes back. Small bridge. Not much distance underneath. Made of some kind of stone. I think I saw a couple of things along the way. Weird things. But otherwise, looks sturdy.
That seems like the safest bit we've got right now.
The rest of you all
Ekbe.
hear squawk, squawk, squawk.
Oh, that's a good point.
what is your name?
John Feathers.
Ekbe, treat John well.
This is an eagle or an owl? I forget.
I think it's an
Eagle.
eagle currently.
I think. Oh, was it an owl?
It was an owl at
Oh,
one point, but I think it
your
got changed.
bird. I'm
It's
just
a
gonna go with your bird.
It's some kind of bird. It's John Feathers. I don't care.
Well, I'll relay the information to the party and Ekbe, treat him well.
As he finishes that, he goes, sometimes, very rarely, when I get to be other things, I'm not just John Feathers, but I'm always John.
So you're John Fur or John Claus or whatever. Oh, it's just a question.
The
little
bird
bird's
flips
claw.
you a bird.
How would that look? Okay, so should we get moving?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We should have
this
one
bridge-
person in front. Mariska
long-
flying above.
How long and
Oops.
how far away is the bridge?
He can understand you, but he can't respond to you, so he turns to fucking Zemnis and then goes, For you guys, probably a night's moving. I
Ooh.
think.
That seems reasonably. We can rest when we get there. I think.
Yeah. Are we rolling for stealth again? Probably best, right?
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think we should travel one person facing ahead, some others, someone second person, bit to the left, middle, off into the forest. Actually, two people off into the forest, and someone looking behind us constantly or
That makes sense.
frequently.
I feel like we should have Zemnis looking into the forest.
Maybe I should be second so I can, glances ahead, look
Yeah,
into the forest.
that makes a lot of sense.
I can look ahead if that's right.
I'll probably look ahead.
Mariska, where's Jax?
She kind of flaps her way down, lands on your shoulder, takes a little seat. So, general feeling, kind of towards where we're going in that direction, somewhere near there. I can tell he's having fun, but that's about it.
Could you?
In a way, that's
not-
good for us.
Could you not call Jex back and offer him a free lonely to eat?
He's got bigger fish to fry right now, for sure.
Hmm.
And whatever
Well-
fish he's frying, it's fucking massive. So maybe that's a better idea.
I'd rather him take care of whatever it is he's doing.
I'd rather him enjoy himself. I'd rather not ask anything of the potentially malicious, God's dangerous fucking thing that is dangerous.
Do you converse with him, Mariska?
Sort of, kind of. He kind of gives me more emotions than anything, but that's about it.
Like a smile?
Yeah, usually smiles, that kind of stuff.
No verbal.
No, most never. Every once in a while, a word or two, but not much for words.
What does Jax eat besides everything?
Everything.
Literally everything. Whatever he'll willingly get his hands on.
Any little snacks he enjoys?
I mean, eggs are very enjoyable for him.
Eggs.
Yeah.
When I'm out of here alive, let's all get eggs.
Wyvern egg specifically.
let's.
I mean,
That was a difficult situation firstly in the first place. Let's not have to do that again. He's had his treat. Jesus.
Should we get going then? I'll take the lead. I feel pretty confident in staying out of sight for the most part.
Yeah, let's just get moving because I don't feel like staying in the same
We're
spot
losing.
for much longer.
I'm gonna glance up as I say this. We're losing daylight, I guess.
Right.
As you say that, Zemnis, you all hear from the distance.
I know what that is.
Roll me
I
a
would like
history
to-
check.
I would like to
Fuck.
unsubscribe from Shadowfel.
No.
Fuck.
Ah, fuck.
You recognize that it's something, and it's probably not good, but you can't put your finger on exactly what it is.
Not sure. Okay, I think we should stay reasonably close together.
You've definitely heard it before.
Okay, so everybody walk very close together. Mariska, you do your little invisible thing. And I,
Yeah.
as everyone huddles up together, I make, the 3 minor illusion things, but, we can see through, they can see
Mhm.
through. Hopefully it's effective from afar.
Fair enough.
And can we have let's say
Oh.
Sekbe and Saril watching the river just in
One
case?
sec. I've
Uh,
never seen anything come from the river.
I'm just trying to sort of get them something to do that isn't.
Does anyone have something foul
Something?
smelling? I don't know. I'm worried about.
Gotta resist. Can I point at Sekbe?
I want to conceal him.
I don't think I'd have anything foul smelling.
Because I do. Mariska, does he smell foul, tasty to them? What?
Would
Well-
oil potentially be considered foul smelling?
Owl does cloak smell.
It potentially does, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's
that's-
a good.
It's not so much his actual physical smell is the problem. It's like as far as I've figured out, I'm not 100%. He's got like a power thing with him, because Dragonkin. So, dunno.
So they're able to track him based on like his aura, you could say.
Yeah, effectively.
That's not good. At this point, are we moving, by the way?
Eh,
Yeah. You guys continue. I need to do an Eastern European accent apparently for the chat. Can
Can we also
Russian
get stealth-
work? Is that
Yeah,
close
Russian's.
enough?
Yeah, Russian's good.
My name is Konstantin Stanislavovich. Please do your best. I will destroy you. You hear a soul say that, and then it walks straight into the river and just goes, I will fucking die. Bust.
Can
Go
we get stealth checks from the others as
Yes.
well?
Everybody, stealth,
Oh,
please. Perceptions, and then after your perception, can you write which way you're looking?
Does the do the minor
behind, I
illusions
think.
help with the
Yeah,
stealth, or
I mean,
or will that
I will
factor into something
factor
else?
that myself. but,
Wait,
like,
we should probably pick our locations before we roll perception.
yeah, write down your location and then roll perception.
If I listen
Like,
at the front,
Can we
right?
just drag tokens? Can we just?
Oh,
sure,
yeah,
you can try
Yeah.
organizing your tokens.
Yeah, fuck, I'll take.
Yeah, just put them in lines. Like I'm at I'm second.
First,
We should
second.
probably just do it back over here because we're not in the way of the dice.
So much space.
Okay,
Yes.
right is first. Right is first.
Oh,
Okay.
So I'm second. Someone has to come in front of
Where
me.
are you
I'll-
guys
I'll be
putting Sekbe
third.
and Sarrel?
can we just get Sakwe and Cyril, I suppose, sort of in the middle?
Yeah, put Sekbe in the middle. He's been zoning out.
Sure.
Someone have someone else walk the forest with Sekbe.
Yeah,
I'll
we can
wa-
have Zell
Forest.
watching forest,
Yeah.
Cyril watching river, and Sekbe watching forest as well.
Cool.
Okay, this works.
Cool. Perception.
Cool. So I will just roll perception for the both of them real quick.
This is not good.
Perception.
Perception.
Sponsored.
And I'm just kind of looking forward and a forest like going between both.
Sarrel perception.
What is the extra D4 Sekbe gets to most rolls?
That's guidance. It's like a cantrip that
Oh,
he
yeah.
can cast.
Gives them just a default.
It's just a
Okay.
straight D4. Yeah.
Man.
So okay.
I can't use psionic die to boost my roll, can I? Because I don't have proficiency.
Yeah, I believe that's not how that works. Yeah, you need.
I can use
proficiency
it to
ability.
boost skill checks when I have proficiency. I think
Yeah.
it is. Let me.
Can you? By the way, people took long rests, so you can reset your health and
Yeah.
stuff
Mhm.
as per usual.
I
Yeah,
get hit
do
dice
that.
back, right?
Yes, you get half of your hit dice back. Half of your maximum
Okay.
hit dice.
Well, I got my fell touch back. That's good.
Cool. So, yes. Powers description. Number of the dice equal to dice. Fuck's sake, where is it? Where does it say? The 5 powers description you can't use.
Be right back. 2 seconds.
Take your time.
Cool. Cool. But yes, everybody doing the focus on different things. Okay. Big sip. So yeah, which place was everybody focusing? Sorry.
It was so. Valis is at the front.
Oh, it's at the
I
front.
think
Yes.
Zemnis, Zell, Sekbe, and Sarah are looking into the forest, and Kane is
Cool.
looking behind us.
Okay.
Rage, on a
perfect.
totally fucking unrelated note, do we remember what stat I boosted with my fell touched?
I believe it
Was
may
it
have been
charisma, wasn't
I
it?
think it was charisma. Yeah.
Okay, then my spells will cast off charisma.
Yes. Which I think was your highest, so it makes sense.
Yes.
Cool.
Fuck, that means click that, but you know.
Okay. Okay, so big invisibility. So, cool. Zell and Zemnis. You're looking off into the forest. See, Sekbe is also focusing on that area as well. You guys continue for what feels like a couple of hours, where as you are looking into the forest, you do keep hearing those loud, gleeful, terrorful grunting noises, the loud calls, the roars, similar things in the distance. And you hear the sound of it sounds like the best way you can put it is the sound of like tree bark shattering, similar things to that. It just sounds like a lot of mayhem is going on off into the forest for the most part. And as you're focusing, specifically Zemnis notices this first, but you will also notice it's not hard. Both of you notice the sound of this mayhem seems to be getting closer. Slowly, but it's getting closer. And over the course of about 2 or 3 hours, it's beginning to get to the point where this is like abundantly loud to everybody in your party. And it's beginning to get to the point where it's kind of concerning how close this, whatever this is. You do hear the kind of sound. And then the sound of like cracking metal, wood, stone, the like. Everything breaking. Destruction, something.
Would I hear it like now that we're close?
Roll me
Like, as
another. Roll me a. So you heard it first, like it getting closer.
Heard it first,
roll me,
yeah, but
roll
like
me a history check again.
after some time thinking about it.
It is. This is enough for you to know that this is a common occurrence again, but you can't put your head to it exactly. Roll me again, actually, because you would have advantage for this one. Sorry. Roll it again. 13. That's enough. It's an angry. It's very obvious. There's literally nothing else that you could think that is this obvious when it is about, especially in the night.
Okay, what would I know about how they hunt? I know that.
They just run shit down. If this was a video game, they'd be the characters who literally run at towers at level 1. They go. There is nothing
But
else
yes, what
but
I
going.
meant.
Like, I mean, no minions, no nothing, into the tower. They solo the tower. That kind of
So
shit.
they're Yasuo mains.
Sure.
How far away does it sound like it is? Was it really close?
It's getting to the point where you think it's within, like, 500, 600 feet, but you haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Well, there's a good chance we may be encountering this thing. It's an angry, rampaging beast. Rather than encountering it 200 meters further, and we're not prepared, I'd say maybe we get ready now.
That seems like a smart idea.
What's the floor made of, Rage? Is it like dirt?
It's like mud, dirt, for the most part.
Is this place basically just like the real world but black?
Very similar. It kind of reminds you a lot of like the area around Amberstone, actually, just darker and more depressing.
Okay.
And anxious.
Can we maybe push some mud up, make a little mud walls on the sides, and I can use minor illusion to make it look better and hide us, just like a mud mound, so to say. If everyone agrees, because I'd need everyone's help with it.
Yeah.
As you finish saying that, you see Sarah point up and go, "That the lonely, still there," and you see the mask stood there, 30 feet away. You thought as you were looking, it looked like initially it was actually a tree, but as it kind of, you see its form slightly shimmer, and it's very obvious it's a lonely now, and it's focusing very obviously on your group.
Zel's gonna cast Form of Dread. Fuck it.
Okay.
It's marked up.
Okay. You cast Form of Dread. You see your figure. Everybody sees Zel's figure change. Oof. Darkness, almost being dragged from the air around her, forming this like almost armor effectively around her. Her figure changes to like it just becomes pale and dark, and you see like shoulders, like icy pauldrons appear this time, and it's almost like she's just wearing like her. You see like on her eyelashes, droplets of like ice appear, and her like face just forms into a bit more dull of a glare, I guess. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm going to whip out my crossbow and point it at the woods.
Okay.
Then
Would
I'm going
I-
to hold an action for anything big and fucking scary to come through the trees.
Okay.
Would I know what, how they are relative to each other, like the angry, the lonely.
You would know that it's pretty like for the most part. When you've roll me a wisdom saving throw. All this, I think, would make the most sense. 11. You remember encountering an angry. It is not enjoyable for either party. It seems like the more that you like tried to deal with it, the worse your dealing with it became.
Everyone, maybe we just stick to the original plan. The lonely isn't coming towards us. Spread out, like 15 feet. I can cover most of us. I'll keep eyes on it. Someone help me, though. Just wait on the acting. Don't act yet. Maybe these two can brawl it out.
Okay.
Should we quicken our pace?
No, we need to bunker
Are we-
down so that maybe the angry doesn't see us.
Angry.
Are we doing the thing with the mud, or are we standing far apart like we did with the lonely?
They're kind of the same.
Okay, up.
Oh no, like
well,
just with the mud thing.
Yeah.
You just keep staring at the lonely.
So, are you guys taking some time to set up like a little mud bunker? Was this?
It's
Yeah?
like a little mud bunker that's aided by minor illusion,
Yes. Okay.
but we're able to like keep. I want to do the regular minor illusion,
Mhm.
but just like a little point where it can tell that like I am staring. The lonely can tell that it is being
It
looked at.
seems to be focusing on you even through the illusions.
Okay,
So you're
then yeah.
completely fine with that. Can you guys roll me athletics checks? Those of you who are helping out to try and sort out this little mud bunker as quickly as possible. If anybody is helping out. 15, 5. Cool. 9. Anybody else? I mean, I guess Sekbei and Sarah.
I'm maintaining the minor illusion, so
So you're not doing that? Yeah, okay, cool. We'll do Sekbei and Sarah real quick.
can I have Mariska cast blinding lights where at like the foot of the lonely, like around it?
Okay, she does that. Easy enough. Sekbei does his best. Which is the 11. Cool. You see, it's majority of it is Kane and Sarah just like molding this earth up a little bit. It's not a huge amount of difference, but it's something, right? You guys take this time to like sort it out. Zell barely helping. Like Sekbei just about helping. Valis just about helping. But you guys, like, it's kind of just, you're focusing a lot on trying to get this done as quickly as possible. And you manage to focus it up. And as you do, you manage to get to a point where you hear in the distance, as the minor illusions continue around you, this... and it gets faster, closer. And you see this creature on all fours for the first part, running its way towards it. Instead of hands, it seems very obvious it has like long, bladed, hooked claws that it's using to run through the along the floor. It has like this covered mask on the top with these like tusks almost, and this open mouth that is permanently grinning. And
I'd like to gesture to everyone not to move.
And you see once again the lonely, and you see this thing that is this. You see running towards the towards the lonely. The lonely, you see its body twists 180 degrees, and it like its arms kind of lengthen out as it prepares itself. But it's one of its. You see its mask continues to look towards you, for the most part. And as you see this, I need to roll a couple of things real quick. See what happens. Okay. 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 And... Ooh, okay. Firstly, it doesn't seem like this creature notices you guys straight away.
Oh.
And it starts the fight by just launching itself at the Lonely. The first couple of hooks straight into its chest, tearing at it. And you see the Lonely as this thing gets closer. It's one of its arms extends long, thin, and at the end where it looked like a tree trunk, it becomes this long, thin, single point that it uses to hook into the this angry, pulling it towards it, wrapping it up, and with its other clawed hand stabbing into its shoulder repeatedly. The angry seems pretty happy with this, and its grinned, gargled mouth begins to as it just begins hooking repeatedly into the fleshy, barky mess that is the chest of the Lonely. It seems like very quickly this fight begins to actually go in the Lonely's favor, as it's just tearing into this angry, keeping it still. But as the fight continues, the angry doesn't stop. It continues getting more aggressive, continues its anger, it continues its unrelenting. The Lonely slows. Slowly. It just begins. The fight is not fast. You think, as you're stood here waiting, can I have you roll a Constitution saving throw, please? Kekru, Zemnis, to try and keep these spells up consistently for this entire fight. But as you guys are like, the first part of the fight goes pretty easily, but it's hours that this is going. The first hour worth, you manage to keep these spells up continually. The Lonely is winning for the first hour. Can I have another Constitution saving throw, please? The second hour, the Lonely begins losing. And it's just as you get to the point where it feels like the Lonely is slowly losing its strength, still grappling the angry, that the angry's head begins to turn towards you, and you falter. A split second of your entire party visible as the middle part of your minor illusion dissipates for a split second. And you manage to pull it back up, but you see that this creature is looking in your direction. It's still stabbing repeatedly into the Lonely, and it's still currently held. But it's looking in your direction, and you hear its gleeful
I'd like to point, so I can move my minor illusion, but it
Yes.
staggers, right?
staggers, yes.
I want to, like, symbolize to everyone, group up, like, to hug tightly to me. So they're more around the center wall, and we start moving like that. They're like away,
Okay.
while I keep the minor illusion just kind of, you know.
Following, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you continue moving this minor illusion on, trying to keep yourself up, and the fight is swift. It doesn't end. It doesn't take very long for this creature to just tear its way through this Lonely. Its clawed arm ends directly into the mask, pushes in, and pulls. And as you see it pulls, the mask comes off. Where the mask pulls through the body. And as it does, you see a pull of this sinewy, glistening power, strength, as it all gets pulled away, and then the creature slowly begins to fade into this black mush, and the angry just opens its mouth, and the Lonely is just sucked in, like a genie sucked into a lamp. A mist absorbed. Yes.
Can I prepare myself mentally so that if the angry goes to the spot where we were, I shift one of the minor illusions to block that side?
Okay. What is your spell save DC?
14.
14. I'm gonna say that this intelligence 14. It has a -1 to intelligence, so it rolls a 14. Is a 13. It begins running directly at the spot where you were. it begins its first jump. It just jumps straight through it, trying to claw at it, and it kind
Wait,
of.
question. How far does it jump?
Here's the thing. That's a Constitution saving throw. Let's see. It jumps directly into the water very briefly, and you see it like roars for a second, and it like hurls its way out of it, clawing at the floor for a second.
So essentially, Rage, right now, my minor illusions are if it's here
Mhm.
and we're here,
Yep.
we have like
A
this.
block in between. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. And you like continue moving it on as you do. This thing begins clawing at the floor, and you can see as it's clawing at the floor, that dark energy that it absorbed, its wounds in some places heal. And you see it slowly, as you're focusing on this creature, you see it almost grow just a little bit. Not by much. This thing is definitely larger than than it was during that battle. It was about like 5'4", 5 foot or so when it started that battle, and as it like ended it, and as you're looking at it now, this thing gets up on its hind legs, and it looks like it's almost 5'8", maybe, not too much more. Its slender form begins searching the area for you. You see it.
Does it seem like it? Does it seem like it was injured after jumping into the river? Or like,
Didn't seem like it was directly injured. It seemed like it shaked off the effects, but it definitely didn't like it.
okay.
It begins continually looking around for you. And as it continually looks for you, 5 minutes go past as you continue making your way away. Moving slowly, trying your best not to draw its attention, making it look like you're not even there. 10 minutes pass. 15. 20. You manage to get yourself a bit of distance. And then it just looks in your direction for a second. And then sprints off into the forest.
Whew.
Change my mind. Minor illusion is the best.
So fucking bad.
I think we should get moving really fucking fast.
Yes.
Change
please.
my
I-
mind.
I literally
Why
could
would I
not see-
change your mind? You're fucking right. I think we should get moving. We need to move fast and now.
Yes.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Okay. Sekbei kind of pauses for a second and goes, "How fast are we trying to go?"
I think we should stay stealth. To be
Yeah.
honest.
Fair enough. You continually stealth. Everybody roll stealth again, please. Those of you rolling
Oh, there you
thingies
go.
as well.
Oh, I actually
Perceptions.
double clicked. It's the
Roll perceptions
16.
for me, please.
Oh, perception as well.
On the perception.
Okay,
Yep.
so I'll just make it easier.
Cool, cool,
Stealth
cool, cool, cool.
and
Cool.
20%.
Cool. Okay. Cool. That's perfect. As you guys are like following on, you do continue. You hear the angry in the distance. You hear it roaring as it does off, but it seems to be getting further away. And its gleeful sounds are loud, and they seem to continue for the majority of the rest of the night. But it seems to be leaving for the most part. You hear the roars of other creatures, but they are put out swiftly. Over the course of a couple of hours, slowly but surely manage to make your way to close to the bridge. Actually, it gets within sight that you see this bridge. And as it gets within sight, almost out of the mist, you see a large hulking being stood across the other side of the bridge, and in front of it, another thinner, smaller humanoid being with a single light from its face, holding this chain connected to the large being, stood on the bridge. The large being looks towards you, and you see its head, a single eye, like light eye, like a light, blinding light eye appears, and it's almost like a spotlight on your group. And you hear simultaneously in your head, "I've been waiting for you. Please." And you see that the small being put a hand out. "Would you join us?"
I'm going to say, for what? How
The
far away?
mistress would see you soon.
Mistress Arcallus?
Do not get a response.
We don't have much other options, so
This is
Yeah,
the
no, I think I'll
first being,
go with. Yep.
and this is the larger hulking being in the back. On
That looks cool.
large.
What's the smaller one?
arms.
Oh, I accidentally
The,
clicked out of it.
the smaller one, I can do that again. The smaller one is holding the chain to the larger one.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
cool.
Well, then off we go.
Yep.
I guess.
I like walk ahead.
You see it's on the other side, like stood on the other side of the bridge. The smaller one just on the bridge, the larger being not quite big enough to stand on the bridge, just off it. The smaller one stands there waiting for you. The chain extending about 10 feet as it stands on the bridge. One hand holding the chain, the other holding some sort of staff. It points you across the bridge. Onto the bridge if you would.
I
Onto the bridge
will
we go.
I guess onto the bridge.
tentatively step onto the
Yeah.
bridge. I'm going to stay close to the exit, and I'm going to sort of be, on my guard. But I'll step onto the bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. You guys position yourself onto the bridge somewhat, trying not to get too far away, too far, like, not too far onto it, but it's about 30 foot across. You're still within, like, a distance that you can tell that you could, like, shout across the bridge very easily and it'd hear you. And as you are, here in this, across it, you see it goes... It has been a long time since living beings have walked into our realm, and your task is admirable. The being Marveth wishes for you to be able to potentially complete your task. And the lady is interested, to say the least. We, the Watchers, do not believe you will make it across to the lady in one piece without a little helping hand. You see the large being opens a large clawed hand, and on the hand you see several small items are there. The man puts his like large staff standing, and it just seems to stand as it turns towards the other being. But there is always a cost. He picks up a small ring, points towards Cain. You, the Blood Hunter. An item of your own. Something you value in trade. For this, he holds up a ring. You see this ring has small spikes on the inside and a single ruby. It seems to be made of this rather thin silver band with lots of inscriptions along the side and what it looks like a couple of like pathways that make their way directly through the ring. The ruby very briefly glints in the light cast from his eye.
What would be of value to you?
Not to me. Something of value to you.
I'll hand him a knife with some markings on it.
You walk across the bridge. You pull out a knife with markings. He drops the ring in the air, and then he goes to take the knife. He very lightly grasps it from you. And how is this of value to you?
It belonged to my family.
Fascinating. And he places it on the other creature's hand. The ring floats its way over to you. As you look upon it, you see the ring slowly float its way onto your finger. And as it does, the small spikes dig into your finger for a brief second, single instance of pain, before you kind of just instantly understand what this ring does. The ring is called the Ring of the Bloodless. Whenever you roll a Hemocraft die, and you would take damage from that Hemocraft die, for example, when you light up your weapons, you can re-roll that Hemocraft die once. So, for example, you roll a 4 on it, you can re-roll it, potentially get something less, so you take less damage.
Pretty cool.
Okay.
The other effect is whenever you cast a Blood Maledict and it targets a creature other than yourself, you can spread that effect to a second creature, and the cost of doing that is rolling a Hemocraft die and taking a damage, as if
Could
you were
you-
doing a Blood
Yeah.
Maledict.
Just a question: could you roll for this extra Hemocraft die and then roll again with
Reroll
the
it,
other
yes.
ability?
Mhm.
Okay, that's cool. That's a really cool dice item. Then.
Cool. And that is the Ring of the Bloodless.
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 Yeah.
I'll post
that's
it in
cool.
chat for you.
Okay. Cool.
After that, he then you see his face almost turn into a slight grin. Do your best with it. He then tilts his head slightly. Crooked finger points towards Valis. You.
I'll step forwards.
The Queen hears your prayers. An item of value to you.
I'm going to pull out one of the daggers that was made for me 2 years ago by Seer, who was the blacksmith from Drittle.
He grasps it from your hand. The being behind him, you hear in a deep, guttural voice. They enjoy their daggers, don't they? It seems they do. He places the dagger down on the being's hand. Where on your body would you like to receive the gift?
I'll gesture to my right shoulder, I guess.
He grasps your shoulder and you feel a burning pain on your shoulder. The cloth around it seems to almost sear for a second, and you feel like the rest of you see as he pulls his hand away, like burn marks on the shoulder. And you see, you kind of move your shoulder to see it, and you see burnt into your shoulder what looks like a black feather burnt into your shoulder. It looks mostly like a tattoo. And as you feel that, your vision kind of blurs for a second, and you see the world brighter than you did before. This is the mark of the Shadowfel. And the rest of you see him almost wreathed in some darkness very briefly. This gives you dark vision to 60 feet at all times.
Fuck yes.
And You can't do it just yet, but when you get the uncanny dodge feature, once per day, when you use the uncanny dodge feature, you can also move 15 feet without provoking opportunity attacks in the same reaction.
Ooh, nice. Getting
Mark
the
of the
dark
Shadowfel.
vision is fucking clean, though.
Imagine if that angry fucking killed us. That would have been fucked up.
Hey man,
Uh,
maybe.
so
I mean, I
what
would
am I?
have eaten myself
this-
out, but yeah.
Is this a feat then?
This is an item, but it is
I mean, 'cause
it's
like
a
on my
magical
body,
item,
so
but it's a magical tattoo basically.
I'm gonna slap it down as a feat, I guess.
Yeah, you put it in the same section. You just count it as a magical item, effectively. For both of these things, neither of them cost attunement.
Okay.
Wow.
I'd like to mention that.
What is that?
Basically, you can only have 3 items attuned to at any time. So for example,
we can have 3 items plus this, is what you're saying?
yeah, basically, it's just
Okay.
a thing. You're fine to have it, kind of thing, at any point. But you can't unattune to these items. They will always be there,
That's really cool.
as far as you know. He then points the crooked finger to Zell. You.
Is Shadowfel 2 L's or 1? It's 2, isn't it? The wiki page has it on 2.
Yeah, we'll have it as 1. I've written it as 1 everywhere. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
it's
okay,
2,
then-
but in this world it'll be 1. I don't give a shit. It really
That's
doesn't make
cool.
a fucking difference. Zell, he points to you. You, closer, come.
Zell just skips over, and she pulls out of her backpack like it's a little sling that she like. It's kind of just makeshift. It doesn't look like anything special, but it's something she made back when she was with her family. So she pulls it out. She pulls it back, and then she slowly gives it to him, like as if to almost regret suggesting it, but she gives it off.
I think you'll enjoy this one. He throws it off, and you see him move his hand and twist it, and you see out of like a small vial, a single white droplet appears and begins floating its way over towards you. It slowly turns itself into a thin icicle, and you see him grip it. Slowly, he puts his hand towards your face, and he rests his hand on your face like this. Can you make me a strength save, please?
Oh boy,
I thought I had it bad.
I got -2 for strength.
Okay. You are unable to move as he holds this to your face, pulls your eyelids open, and he slowly pushes this single needle-like piece of ice into the small of your eye. And as soon as it's pushed all the way in, he lets you close your eye.
Quickly, has anyone here played Prey?
It sounds like a Dead Space 3.
It sounds like Dead Space. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah,
I've not
it does
played.
seem like
I've
Dead
not played
Space.
Dead Space. I've not played Dead Space, but have anyone here
Actually,
played Prey?
I've not yet. No.
Well, when you use the neuromods, the power things, you like inject them into your eye.
Stop. I'm gonna gag.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll stop.
My eyes are watering.
Your eye kind of like feels a brief pain, and then you feel this frost kind of encompass your body, and your fingers feel somewhat colder, and you feel a warmth in your chest as you feel a part of maybe yourself, maybe not yourself, restored. And your fingers almost ice up for a second, but doesn't seem to leave any physical marks. This is the Frost Maiden's breath. It is a part of Marceline.
Oh yes.
Once per day, you can cast the spell Frost Fingers as a first level spell with a DC 11. This spell can also be cast using your spell slots at any time.
Okay.
As an action, you can chill a drink or something similar that you hold, or freeze 1 meter cube of liquid. You can only freeze up to 1 meter of liquid in a day.
Okay.
For context, the Frost Fingers spell is effectively just burning hands, but cold.
Right.
Okay. He then turns Zemnis. And the man of the hour.
I cross the bridge and start shuffling for something. And I
Poor Zemnis Depot. You have nothing left to give. Nothing left that would be worthy of us, unfortunately.
I do
But
have
nothing that we would care about, at least. But we are generous. You have been through so much. He puts his hands out, and you feel wreathed around you. Your clothing almost dissipates for a second, and you find yourself wearing a robe. It is a long, kind of nice looking robe. The robe seems on one side to be like dark in like a black silk, and then the other side is a white silk. But as you like feel it rest upon you, you get the feeling that you could make it look whatever you wanted it to. Give me a second. I just realized I didn't have that written in, but that was a thing. But as it like rests on you, you feel like a little bit like not necessarily tougher, but you feel a little faster, and you feel like this robe kind of holds you slightly differently. This is the robe of duality. While wearing these robes, your AC becomes 13 plus your dexterity modifier. Once per day, you can call on either the light or the dark within the robes. For the next minute, you can either choose to dispel all darkness, magical included, within 30 feet of you, and cast a bright light. Or, you could do the opposite. You can create a magical darkness that exists within 10 feet of you. Both of these effects are centered on yourself and move with you. Those are the robes of duality. Cool. Think of this as a gift from Marva.
From Marva? Did you say?
Marva, yes.
I thought the lady of the Shadowfel was Lady Irkalla. I was gonna say, can he see through the magical darkness that he's creating?
He cannot unless he has another feature that allows him to.
Wait, what?
Right.
So
You can't see through magical
can't see
darkness
through the
with dark
magical
vision.
darkness
I
without
do
the
have
other feature. Yeah.
Yeah, I do have Devil's Sight.
Yeah. With Devil's Sight, you can see through it, but otherwise you wouldn't be able to.
I also
Oh,
have
okay.
Darkness the spell. So.
Yeah, you do. So this is basically a version of darkness that you can cast that lasts for a minute. You say that out loud, by the way, Ballas. The thing about Lady
about
Irkalla.
Shadow. Yeah.
You see the large creature behind him chuckle for a second. Very different beings, little one. Very different beings. You see then he looks to Saril. And you. And I'll figure out whatever the fuck Saril needs to give for this. He'll come up with something. I don't really give a shit. I'll post what it is. You see two braces that appear, and there's an arrow in one of the braces. That is just like kind of like in it almost, or at least at the very least, it's the head of an arrow at the top.
Inlaid in it.
Inlaid in it. But like you see that he kind of like they place them on himself, and he like pushes an arrow into it, and the head of the arrow comes off with the arrow. Brace of arcane shot. +2 damage to all bows, and once per day, when he runs out of arcane arrows, he can spend a bonus action to regain 1 arcane arrow. So, he's not completely useless all the time. Haha. He's not 2 and done, he's now 3 and done. Okay. And finally, he then turns to Sekbei. And he turns to Sekbei, and you see him pick a human tooth out of the creature's hand, and the creature closes his hand with all of the items as Sekbei places whatever item he wishes to give up. We'll figure that out later. And was it the human tooth? He shows it and goes, I believe your master wanted you to have this. And he gives it to Sekbei. Now, whatever would happen with this is kind of a big deal, so I kind of need to know whether he would be willing to, do the thing that would make this a big deal. So I'm gonna leave it till next time, before we do things, because it is a big deal, right? That is something that I completely forgot about. You all went to sleep, which means you all had dreams, which means I should
Oh,
do
we
the
actually
dreams now.
We had dreams. That's
You actually had dreams,
hmm.
so we'll do that now.
Okay.
Who would like to go first?
Let's
I
start
go
rolling.
first.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Well, I mean,
as a.
you kind of don't really have dreams,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
but like,
Dead
Pretty
moment.
trance,
moment.
maybe.
No, because if I don't have dreams, what I'm gonna do is I'll listen in. I'll like switch to my phone and
Yeah.
grab food while
okay,
we're
yeah,
finishing.
go
up.
ahead. You wouldn't really have a dream here, unfortunately.
Okay, so I'll switch to my phone.
Okay, cool.
I'll
So
leave.
it is 3 of you, and then I'll do the other dreams at the beginning of the next session, I guess.
Okay. I want to just cut in and say these magical items are cool and it's nice we're getting them.
Is no problem. This one is going to be Zell first. Zell, you feel like a. You're here, by the way, right?
I'm muted?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know I was fucking muted.
That's fine.
I am here.
I was just checking.
Yeah.
You-
I'm gonna run upstairs to grab a drink.
This is going to be weird. My face is going to be weird again. This is fine. This is fine. I'm wide now. Okay, cool. But yes, Del, you feel your connection to your patron almost rebuild itself again as you are in the Shadowfel. You feel an odd emptiness, and you then feel quite fulfilled very briefly. As you are spending this time focusing on your patron, focusing on yourself, like during this last night, you have a dream. It's kind of odd because you haven't been having dreams like this for a while. You haven't felt as connected to your patron in the last couple of days beforehand. You could connect, like talk to her physically, but it didn't really feel the same. And you had this dream of walking through the Shadowfel, walking up to the great castle. Its walls are damaged in places, ragged, but they're strong, existing. You walk, doors open, walk through, and you find yourself in the throne room, stood across from a rather tall female figure. She stood there with a large crown made of skulls, with 2 large black horns either side. Her skin pale, long blonde hair, pitch black eyes, except like completely black eyes. And she's wearing a dress that is black and is like sideless. She stands there, arms crossed. What are you doing here, Marceline? And you respond, we have business, Irkalla. They've been working behind my back. I know it. Not my business. Never has been. I don't mesh well with the goddesses and gods. I never did with the Fae. Leave my domain. Please. I have no quarrel with you. I have no quarrel with them. You feel a deep sadness. A wasted time. Again. And you return back to your comforting, large, rolling wooden chair in your wooden room. Cold air around you. Normal, comforting. There's an emptiness about it. Your court is empty. Has been for some time. They've all left you. Now or never. And you know there's another being that might genuinely be able to help out. And if so, maybe they're strong enough to help you as well. So you return once again to the material plane, to the city of glass. Hope that her offer still stands. And your dream fades. Okay. Okay. This one is Kane.
Yes.
Kane, you find yourself once again in this odd, weird, confined space as per usual. These mirrors in front of you, green tinted, glass around you in every direction. Oh, welcome back. I wasn't expecting you to come back at all, actually. It's been a little while since you've gone.
Why do you say that? Just
mean,
because?
It's been a couple days, at least, since you've been here. You see the humanoid figure appear into the mirror in front of you, standing with his book. Something happen? Did you just not sleep or whatever? Considering you said did this happen when you slept?
I think I just didn't have dreams.
Interesting.
From what I remember.
Very interesting. Well, that's fair
Wait,
enough.
do you know anything about that?
Kind of thinks for a second. I'm not really sure, to be honest. Something just seemed very off. I mean, I would have been expecting you to at least make an appearance very briefly. But it's been a little bit of time since you last have. So, time here is a little bit odd anyway, so I can't complain too much. Been up to anything interesting?
Yeah, but I would rather honestly just be doing something more casual, you know?
Fair enough.
Just hunting a couple easy to kill monsters rather than like being here.
That's fair enough. The most difficult tasks weigh on us the most. Tell you for a fact, I'd be more than happy to be out hunting monsters, but seems for the moment we're both confined here. Curious. This is the case. Like, potentially at some point, offer you something, but I don't want to overstep my boundaries. I'm not sure how much time we have left, but in the coming nights, I'd like to tell you a story. You'd be willing to hear it.
Yeah, of course.
After this story, I will pose you a question. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
I'm not sure how many nights it'll take to complete the full story. But it will be a story that will change the way you think about everything. And I want you to be prepared for that, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Best of luck in your endeavors.
Thank you.
You're not the only one who's had to go to hell and back to get somebody back. When you see the goddess, tell her to fuck off for me. And you see him fade from in front of you, and your dream dissipates. Okay. Finally. Alice.
Hello.
Alice, your dream comes quickly, and you feel like yourself being dragged away from your body very, very quickly into a very familiar sight. And it's quite a calming sight, actually, as you are chucked back into the library. You find yourself looking upon, as you're chucked directly into the library, Arya seems to be looking down at a book, flicking through it, and next to her seems to be an odd being. It seems like this is a large centipede-like creature with a long head, two small eyes at the top, and these large spikes all across its back. It has these large two pincers that come together into two small points. And as you appear, you see Arya flicking through the book. There's got to be some way to get him back. I don't know what's happened, but... And as you see that, you hear in your head, and you see her kind of stop for a second. The odd one has returned. The creature, a large centipede-like creature, its eyes look down towards you as the two small stalks focus on you.
I'm gonna sort of like wave at it.
We welcome you back. This one is sorry about the damage it inflicted when you attempted to strike it.
Don't
And it
worry
bows
about
its
that.
head. Oh, you're back.
Hello, yeah.
The fuck happened? Where were you?
I'm in the Shadowfel.
Okay. Well, that's obvious. But what happened the days before? Why couldn't I contact you?
I don't know. I went to the temple, met, gestured to the centipede. Then we returned back to Wiggly, the town we were at, and I tried to contact you once or twice and I couldn't.
They should be able to contact you in the Shadowfel, so it's the Shadowfel that's the problem. That town you were
Perhaps
in,
it's Wiggly?
Wiggly. Is there anything strange about that town?
Just a little bit. Apparently the food there was doing something to the residents' memories, the bread or something. And I'd already seen an occult ritual going on there a few weeks, no, months ago. And there was
I remember going
there
there
was
beforehand,
I-
but it's gone.
what do you mean? What's gone?
My vision on the place is gone completely. And obviously I sent... See, the creature goes, this
when
one,
did it go?
yes.
When did it go?
I wasn't checking in on the place, but now that I look at it now, it's gone. I can't look at it like I
Was
would
you
at most
able
places.
to contact me when I was there before? Or...
I was able to see you, and I was able to see it, and I was able to go there. But now, I can't. I don't know why, and that concerns me.
There was I'm not sure what it was, but I think it was an undead of some kind. It was I believe it was a lumberjack. It was a villager. He was dead, and he was talking like a goblin we killed. There was, as I mentioned, there was a cult ritual, or what looked like an occult ritual, around
Several things
6
can
months.
come back from the dead like that.
There was a cult ritual around 6 months prior, and I think that was when we met for the first time. I believe.
She kind of turns. The creature goes, this one moved through the Shadowfell to get there. And this one... Well... It was weird there. Something was wrong. I can't tell you. This one cannot tell you what. Your
What has changed there? Can you answer that?
this
I
one,
would still have my bag on me, right?
yeah.
Can
This
I
one
sort of
only
take up
noticed
the
dead
Talte
air.
mask?
Yeah. That mask is the Taute mask. What of it?
I'm just not really sure what happens with it. Like, does it really have any use? What happens if I put it on?
You put it on, you might become one. I wouldn't suggest that.
Okay.
Not much use other than in the Shadowfell, to be honest.
While we're here as well, I'm going to reach into my bag. I'm going to take up the book on raising wyverns. I'm going to put this back for now. I don't think it would be good to carry it on me.
You place it back into the bookshelf and you hear it.
And I also want you to have a look at this. I'm going to, pull down my coat and show the mark on my shoulder. I just want to make sure this isn't harmful.
Not yet.
Yet.
She's making a claim on you.
Who?
The goddess Irkalla is making a claim on you.
Okay.
At this point, I'm not
So-
sure there's much you can do about it, but we're definitely
So
going
long
to have a
as
conversation
it's-
with her.
So long as it's not getting me killed, if it's beneficial, I'll take it.
Will be beneficial for now, but I'm not sure how beneficial it will be eventually.
It just has to be beneficial for long enough for me to get to Strissel.
There's always downside, Valis. Nothing comes free in this world.
I'm aware.
Not sure you're aware of exactly what you've done. But we'll see.
Yeah, it seems to be going like that with a lot of things at the moment.
Think before you do something. No matter. You're claimed by the library to some extent. Won't be able to stop that claim, but she might wish to share you, which is going to be a pain on everybody's parts. Going to be a lot more for you to do.
Do you know or have any idea why she might want to do this?
Claiming an assassin as the goddess of the Shadowfell. There's a lot you could do with that for sure.
Am I an assassin then?
Not yet. But you're intended to be.
I see.
Always plans and actions, but plans are unimportant. It's the planning that's the important part. And there's a lot of planning going on off all the time.
Have you been able to watch me since I came to the Shadowfell then?
Once you've been the Shadowfell, yes.
Do we have any idea what the creature was that was with us? The Tarask. Do we have any idea what the strange creature with three eyes? Just out of character. The Tarask. I'm trying to describe it.
You describe it. Oh, that. Only seen it a couple times. You might be able to find some information on it here. I'm unsure.
Library. Tell me about the creature we were traveling with.
Roll me a D100. Okay. Kind of focus for a couple seconds, look around. You figure out, manage your, fumble your way through a couple of different things, and then you grab a book, open it, and it says, Gorish's Guide to Abominations and Other Monstrosities. And you flick through it. Lots of terrifying things. A giant beast with multiple small eyes and a big eye. You see a giant ooze monster. Flick through a couple more things until you end up on a page with your lovely friend. It's the word above the drawing says Grey Render. And as you look it through its list of different things, it just says horribly possessive of one being, will go to every end as a guard dog should to defend it. cares not for anybody else it is caring for. It will go to the ends of the multiverse to defend that person. Usually made by wizards or other powerful beings to protect them.
Could it forget something if it got splashed by water?
You look at this book and it doesn't really change.
Okay.
Find what you needed?
Sort of. I know it's not actively hostile, which is good, since I'm pretty sure it's decided it likes my kobold friend.
That's nice, I guess.
This is probably not good. What about the two then? The one that gave him this mark and his big friend. What are they?
They are seemingly something to do with it, Lady Irkalla, but I've seen them a couple of other places before. Maybe they're not to do with Lady Irkalla. I've seen them in other realms of existence.
They were described as keepers to me.
I've seen them once before. In a very awkward situation. And they seemed to assist me at the time. They introduced themselves to me as the Watchers. And they said very little else, but they assisted me and they got me out of a extremely sticky situation.
Did they take something valuable from you in return?
They did.
What can I ask what you gave them?
The only thing of value I had left. The memory of my husband and child. Probably for the best, considering our line of work.
I see.
See her left eye just quiver for a second, and a single teardrop fall.
I'm sorry.
An odd sensation of feeling sad, but not knowing why I'm sad. No matter. Can't bring it back. I can't do anything about it, and even if I wanted to, the cost would be great. So
I see. So I'm gonna just operate on that they are not hostile, potentially allies, but stay wary around them.
whatever it is, they come with a cost. Whatever they do for you, never just free. Be wary of them.
Yeah, they took a dagger from me this time. Makes
The dagger
me
that they'd take. There's always a
Makes
little bit more.
I suppose. Makes me glad I didn't have my locket on me.
This journey that you're going on currently.
Pardon?
This journey that you're going on currently.
Yeah, what about it?
Have you planned for any of this? Have you considered what's going to happen?
Not really. I'm not too sure what's going on. When I left 2 years ago, I simply assumed I would go to an adventurer's guild, somewhat build up a name for myself, and then return home with a group of fellow adventurers that I consider friends. I'd never never expected any of this, especially what's going on now.
Alice, I've done. See our eyes kind of glow pink for a second. Done some looking. A lot of looking while you were gone. Looking into whatever this business that is going to happen is, whatever is going to happen, why you several things, and I talked to an old friend of mine, and whatever it is, you're going to need all the help you can get. And I
Then
implore you to think about what you're doing before you do it. I implore you, don't stick to the plan, but the act of planning itself is the important part, okay?
if I'm going to need all the help I can get, then surely having the support of Arcalis is a good thing.
The things I know, if I tell you what's going to happen, if I tell you what is going to come, potentially, even just the options, it'll change things. Perhaps most likely for the worse. Make the decisions you're going to make, but think before you do them. For once, I'm not going to tell you not to ask questions. Ask the questions, but be prepared for the answers. Well,
Understood. I have a small request, I suppose.
Hmm?
What are you able to look at when you look at however you look at it? Look at the world.
pasts, presents, potential futures, but not true futures.
Can you look at whatever you want to look at in the present? Can you pick a location and look at it?
Potentially, but not things I'm not tied to. Or things that I'm not about to assassinate. It's selective at best. The library doesn't want me to see it. Feel the world around you, Valis. Slowly beginning to fade. Oh, he's gone. Well. Hello. No. I think maybe Discord's just dying. I don't know. But either way, there wasn't too much else that was going to be happening there. But yes. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. If anything else happens, I will keep you updated vaguely somewhere, somehow. I have frozen on Discord. I'm pretty sure the Discord has just absolutely died, but I am still here, which is why you see my weird face there. Amazing. Beautiful. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. We will catch you next time. Bye bye. I waved at the camera, and it doesn't fucking matter.